In this video, I want to talk to you about the approval ratings at various consulates of the United States in different countries. And I want to demystify the consular interview process, the visa application, as well as talk about the myths about the consular approval ratings or denial ratings in different countries. Please subscribe to our channel and please like this video. So there is a general notion, understanding, and rumor between immigrants in many countries that the consular approval ratings depend on the consulate where you apply for a visa. Partially, it may be correct. So the chances of getting your visa application approved may be more in one consulate versus another. But there is no specific statistics that we can rely on and tell you that you should apply at this consulate or other consulate. First, you should understand that the choice of consulate is not really a choice. So, if you're applying for a non-immigrant visa, then you have to apply for the U.S. consulate that is handling non-immigrant visas for the citizens of your country where you live, where you're citizen of. Now, if you're a permanent resident or if you live in another country, then you can apply through that consulate. But other than that, you cannot choose the consulate just because you think that at one consulate you have better chances. So that's number one to know. Number two, the fact that the approval ratings in one consulate is higher than the other doesn't mean that your chances of getting approved is higher at this consulate. And here's how it works. So typically in the US consulates, which are in the third world countries, which are not the most developed economies of the world, the approval ratings are lower. And it's just a logical explanation. There is a logical explanation to this, is that many people from those countries which don't have the highest economy many people want to immigrate. More people from those countries want to immigrate into the United States. And as a condition for approval of your non-immigrant visa, most of non-immigrant visas, you have to demonstrate that you are not likely to permanently remain in the US, that you're not intending to immigrate and live in the US permanently. So in doing so, if the population of a certain country has more immigrants, more willing immigrants, individuals who are planning or hoping to immigrate permanently into the US, then obviously the approval ratings in that country, in the US consulate in that country, will be less than in economically developed country where many people want to just come and visit the United States. They want to hang out here, have a travel vacation, family vacation, or visit their relatives and friends. So it's not because the United States prefers one country over another or so on. But yes, you've probably heard of, famously President Trump saying, why don't we have more immigrants from Norway? But we have from other countries, third world countries, which, I would have explained to him that probably Norwegians are not so eager to immigrate to the United States because they're having fun and having a good life there. But generally, again, as a policy, the United States doesn't differentiate between the nationalities, ethnicities, and so on. They do some background checks and, more deeper and further background checks for citizens of certain countries, but it's not because they're discriminating. It's because of the conflict situation, or maybe there is something going on in that country and so on. But other than that, your chances of approval depend on your case, on the specifics of your application. And in that application, you have to be as sincere as possible. Number one, obviously, if you're trying to apply for a visitor visa or a student visa so you can live permanently in the US, and you have this in your mind, but you're applying for a visa and pretending that you're coming to visit, don't do it. It's easily revealed, and your case can be denied. Now, if you have in the back of your mind an idea or an aspiration that maybe you'll find a job down the road and live in the US, maybe you have this aspiration about living in the United States, that's fine. You can apply for a visitor visa. no problem there, as long as at this time, during this visit, you don't have specific plans of permanently remaining in the US and you're coming really truly for the purposes that you are describing to the consular officer. The important factor in deciding whether you, in increasing your chances, or for the consular officer to decide whether to approve or deny your visa, is the specificity of your application, of the reasons, of the purpose of your visit. Many times, I get contacted by clients who consult with me after their visa was denied, and I ask them, what is their purpose of the visit? Did you give the specifics? And they didn't. They don't know the specific dates they want to travel. They don't know exactly what they're going to do in the United States. The consular officer asks them, how long you're going to stay in the US. They're saying, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 3 months. That's a huge, time range. And then the question comes up, okay, the difference between 3 weeks and 3 months is huge for the purpose of employment. You're telling me that you're employed and that you're coming to the United States to visit, but you cannot describe the specific arrangements with your employer as to your vacation or time off, or is this, if you're in school, how are you going to manage, how are you going to deal with missing 3 weeks? Is this the vacation? Is it the summer break time that you're traveling to the United States, or what is it? So many applicants make mistakes by themselves, not providing sufficient information. And I'm not talking about necessarily documentation. That's also something you should prepare in terms of the letters and documents showing your close ties to your home country. But many times, more often than not, the problem is not having specific plans and not being prepared to answer those specific questions by the consular officer. So, if you have a relative or a friend who you're going to visit in the United States, get a letter or work out the plan with that friend or relative. When are you planning to come to the United States? What are you planning to do here? Which cities are you going to visit? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go to New York, Las Vegas? You're going to fly to California, go to wine country? What is the specific plan? And have specific plans about your absence. If you're employed, you have vacation? Are you going to take vacation, time off? Or do you have, if you're in school, how are you going to deal with a break from school? So as long as you have all these specific plans. Now, again, one other thing I want to add about specificity is get the documents from your US contact, whoever you don't have to have a contact, by the way. That's another thing. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute. So, but, if you have a friend or relative who you're going to visit, get a letter from them describing how you know each other, how, what you're planning to do here in the US, and how long you're going to stay. Now, don't make plans in terms of paying for hotel, booking airfares. None of that is going to help. And in fact, it will irritate the embassy. The embassy specifically posts in their website that you shouldn't make any specific, plans for which you pay, no reservations or bookings, because it's not going to put a pressure on the consular officer. They're not going to approve your case just because you paid for travel ticket. And, it kind of creates this artificial pressure, which doesn't help, actually hurts more than help. So have specific plans, have specific ideas, what you're going to do, how long you're going to stay, but be prepared, but do not pay for any reservations or tickets and so on. Now, regarding having a contact in the United States, I want to mention that, you don't have to have a person who you're going to visit, or maybe even if you do, you don't have to visit them. You don't have to come and see your friend or find a friend or relative or a distant relative who's going to write a letter. And that's one of the mistakes many applicants do. I had a family, and I always famously bring this example to my clients who are asking about applying, for their family members, applying for a visitor visa or so on. I bring this example that I had individuals, husband and wife, they just got married and they wanted to come to the United States for their honeymoon. And they had this, dream or aspiration. They wanted to be in Miami for their honeymoon, which is good. And they had financial ability. They just got married and this was their honeymoon plan. They had close ties to their home country. But for some reason, somebody told them, whispered into their ears that, oh, you have to have somebody you're going to visit in the United States. And since they didn't, some friend of a friend found their cousin in the United States who, they managed to get a letter from and pretended that they went to school together, which was fake and so on. And they applied for this and they were denied, and they were consulting with me. And I'm like, why did you do that? You could just explain sincerely that you're coming to the US for your honeymoon. And, you had a wedding recently, you have financial resources to pay for that trip and everything. So why would you put this poison in your, sincere application for a visitor visa? So, don't do that. Don't fall into those traps by some companies or organizations that create these fake marriage documents telling you that, oh, if you're single, you're never going to be able to go there, so you need to be married so you can travel to the US. Guess what? We had a client recently who did that, who entered the US, and then he really got married in the United States with a US citizen. And as we were filing for his, permanent residency, it was revealed that in his visa application, he provided some kind of fake marriage certificate and he indicated he was married. So he had two options. One option was, if this was a real marriage, then before this marriage, he should have gotten a divorce, or he had to admit that this was a fake marriage. Then he would have to file for a waiver of misrepresentation before he could get the green card. So anyway, bottom line is, don't fall into those traps. Don't let anybody prepare your application for a visa unless this is a licensed United States immigration attorney or accredited representative, because you cannot believe how many clients come to us after somebody filled out their application. They've been denied, not only denied because the consular officer believed that they're planning to immigrate and stay permanently in the US, but they were denied because the fraud was revealed. And then telling the consular officer that, oh, I didn't know because I didn't fill out my application, is not going to help. It's not a form of defense. So be sincere, disclose the information, fill out your application on your own, or hire an accredited representative or a licensed immigration attorney in the United States. For example, you can contact our firm, provide specific details as to your travel. Do not look for fake relatives or contacts or friends who you're going to visit in the US. If you don't have any, that's fine. You may be just traveling as a tourist to travel in the United States, to have a vacation in the United States, and provide detailed and thorough answers at your consular interview. This will significantly increase your chances. And the fact that the approval rating in your consulate is low is not your fault. It just means the general population either provides a lot of false information. That's why many of those applications are denied. Or it may mean that generally I have a bee who's flying too close. Okay, so it's gone. Or they may, many people may be providing not specific information, or many people from the general population of your country want to immigrate to the United States. That's why the general approval rating at the US consulate may be lower, but that doesn't affect necessarily your case. Be well prepared, and hopefully you will be approved. Again, please subscribe to our channel and please hit like. Thank you very much for your listening, and good luck.